Hoi folks, good morning, good afternoon and good evening wherever you are in the world. My name's Sean, aka Uncle Frogface, and welcome to today's video. If you're new here, then welcome. If you're not new, then welcome back. Today we're doing something we've not done for quite a while. We are doing a miniature master study. So I was going through some of my boxes, looking at some of my art supplies, managed to find one of my small canvases. And I've already got my painting supplies and everything out, so I'm going to get stuck straight into it today. So here we are with our teeny weeny little canvas, and just to show you exactly how big this is, as I always do, let's have a quick look. This is 5 centimeters or 2 inches by 7 centimeters, or just under 3 inches, 2 3/4. So yeah, these are really tiny canvases. I got them on eBay really cheap. I think it was 10 of them for like £5 or £6, something like that. But I absolutely love them. So much fun for doing these tiny little paintings. But what are we going to be painting today, I hear you ask? Well, I just slide the iPad over. We are going to be doing this painting. So this is Portrait of Christopher by Aaron Westerberg. So I kind of came across Aaron Westerberg in the last kind of 18 months. Saw some of his paintings, just absolutely fell in love with them. There's such a kind of big variety of tone in them. And from what I understand, Aaron mainly uses a Zorn palette, which is something I've never done. And the whole idea of doing these master studies is to push myself outside of my comfort zone and to try new things and to see if something kind of resonates with me. So I'm going to try today using a Zorn palette with acrylic paints, which could go really well, it could go terribly. But if you don't know what a Zorn palette is, it is yellow ochre, vermilion, a kind of black. I don't think I have the right black. I've got Mars black and white. So it's 4 colours, well 3 colours and white really. The black kind of acts as your blue tone. But yeah, I've never tried this before. I've got some new paintbrushes to kind of supplement the ones that I had originally. So I've got just some extra ones here. They're pretty much the same as what I already had. I've got some of these as well. I've also, because I can't find my usual plastic white palette, I've got an aluminum palette, which is very shiny. And I'm going to be using this today instead, because I think actually aluminium is much nicer for cleaning with acrylic paints. Just a personal preference. And this was, I think this was £1. I picked it up the other day when I was out shopping. I also have to say, it is currently 28 degrees in North Wales. It's slightly higher in other parts of the UK, but that is officially 2, maybe 3 degrees higher than the average melting point of a Brit. So I am sweating buckets. So I'm gonna start doing kind of my sketching and stuff, but I will have my fan on as well, so you might hear a little bit of whirring from that, although it's supposed to be silent, but you know what fans are like. Okay, first thing I want to do is tone this canvas. I think we're gonna do that with a mixture of yellow ochre and a little bit of black and white to dull it down to get a kind of nice background like we've got here. So I'll be back with you once I've done that. Okay, so here we are, got a nicely toned canvas, front and sides. Next step is to take our proportional measuring tool and a coloured pencil in this kind of umbery colour, and the original image on the iPad with a lovely reflection of the light. I'm just going to pop something under there to stop that reflection. There we go. And I'm going to start transferring this onto here. So I've used this proportional measuring device on every miniature master study video that I've done. If you'd like a more in-depth video on how to use one of these, then leave a comment down below and I will definitely get to doing that. I'm always happy to share information. But basically what I have already done is I've measured the width of this canvas and set it to the width of the image on the screen, like that. And the only difference here is that this canvas, by proportion, is slightly larger than this one. So we're going to have a little bit extra kind of blank canvas at the top, but I'm happy with that. In the past I've masked it off and done things like that, but actually I'm happy just leaving this one as it is. So I'm going to go through and start marking out reference points on the image, like this back of the shoulder here, then transferring that point onto the canvas so that I can then sketch my image. So here is my very rough sketch. I've kind of got, I think, the information that I want from this, and obviously I'm going to be keeping that on the side as well for reference. But I am incredibly apprehensive about this one, just because, I mean, it's such a gorgeous portrait, and it's using a palette that I've never used before, techniques that I've never used before. It also looks like, if we look really closely, it looks like there are areas where I can see the canvas through the paint as well, like it's been scraped back. I have to think about how I'm doing that as well. Oh, okay, without further ado, I think we should just get stuck in. Well, hello. It feels like a while since I've done an actual proper voiceover, but here we are. First things first, I just want to apologise. There's something wrong with the video footage, which means it keeps shifting from cool to warm. I've tried to fix it as much as I can, but obviously it's a little bit noticeable when the video is sped up so much. So there is that. But I thought I'd take this opportunity, whilst I'm putting in all these dark tones on this picture, just to give you a little bit of an update on what has been going on. So obviously, if you're a regular here, you'll know that I've recently got promotion at work, and I've been doing that for the last couple of weeks, which is also why there's been a delay in getting videos out. It's quite demanding work, particularly at the beginning when you're learning all the kind of policies and procedures and all that kind of stuff. But I'm settling in really well, and I'm really enjoying it. And now that I'm kind of settled a little bit more, I'll be able to properly work on my YouTube schedule and get videos back on track once a week minimum. We actually might get a second video this week, but who knows. I've also been doing a little bit of shopping. Jumping around in the background if you heard that. I've been doing a little bit of shopping. Every time I go out, I've just seen little random art kits or suppliers. I'm just like, oh, that's interesting, I could do something with that. So I've got quite a few videos lined up. And of course I still want to keep doing things like this, the mini master studies and the sculptures and all that kind of stuff, and I'll have a working oven. I've also been planning the office to get it all sorted into a proper, workable, usable art space. And I think I've got most of my things that I need to get that started. I was just going to do it in my own time and then kind of have a big reveal video, but a few people have expressed interest in actually seeing the process of taking everything out of the room, stripping back all of the wallpaper, filling everything, and then rearranging this into an actual office / studio. If that's something you'd like to see, leave a comment down below. If enough people like that idea, then by all means I will make a video of that. But getting back to this video, you can see I've started to block in some of the flesh tones. I was really surprised at the variety of flesh tones you can get from such a limited palette. I'm actually considering doing some oil painting and doing some Zorn palette oil painting. Never done oil painting before. I've always been kind of put off by the solvents and things like that. It's definitely something that I will research, but I do also know that there's a company I think called Cobra. There might be a branch of Talon, but they do a water soluble oil paint, so that also might be something to look into. And again, if you've got experience with that, or if you've got any advice with oil colours, then leave a comment down below. It's always really nice to hear from you guys. We've had some good conversations in the comments section, and it's nice to see regular faces come up all the time with their little comments. and little bits of advice. Also really nice to see new people as well, so if this is your first time here and you want to say hi, then do so down below. It's really nice to speak to you guys. But with this painting, I'm really just going back and forth. I'm trying to keep the paint quite thick, but as you could see there with that, I think it's a cigar in the lips. It's too dark to be a cigarette. If the paint's too watery, and this is something I've found with these mini master studies, if it's too watery, it just disperses in the grain of the canvas, and that's just the nature of doing something so small. If this was a large painting, then wouldn't really have that issue. But yeah, I'm just going back and forth. Important to note that I have 2 brushes on the go at the moment. I have one for dark tones and one for light tones to stop it being as muddy as possible. And there we go. I mean, it's coming together, and it's just a case now of coming in with a few details and final touch-ups. I think the overall form is where I want it to be, and I just want to kind of refine it a little bit more as best I can on such a small canvas, because these are, as I say, ridiculously tiny. But I enjoy the challenge so much. It's really bizarre that, you know, I've done large paintings and really enjoyed the process of that, and it takes ages to do them, can spend weeks on a single painting, and then we get these tiny paintings where they take anything from 20 to 50 minutes. I don't think a single one's taken more than an hour. This one today, the whole process from sketch to finish took 48 minutes if I put all the footage together, which is a ridiculously small amount of time, and I've learned so much from this. I've learned so much about the Zorn palette, and about limited palettes in general, and about portrait painting as well. Excuse me, bit of a frog in my throat. Oh, knocked the camera there. And I think we're almost coming to the end of this, so I wanted just to add a little bit more colour to this. So I've got this nice brown colour, which is just made with a bit of the yellow ochre, a touch of red, and some of that black. And then coming in with some final darks, and I think we are almost done. Well, we're completely dry now, and I have to say, I'm actually quite shocked at just how well this has turned out. I mean, I always get kind of a bit of imposter syndrome with painting. I'm just like, okay, I'm just muddling along and trying to do my best. But actually, using the Zorn palette and kind of a limited palette, it's probably the best I've ever painted skin tones. I'm yeah, really shocked. But this is it all finished. Obviously, it's not completely accurate, but it's a tiny canvas, so I did the best I could in such a small space. But wow, I think this is probably my favourite mini master study so far. This is definitely going up on the shelf with the others. If you've got a picture you'd like me to attempt on a small canvas in future, leave a comment down below and let me know what that is, and I'll add it to the list of paintings. This one was just for me, but I have asked on Instagram and Twitter before for suggestions. We do have a few in the pipeline. But as always, I really hope you've enjoyed today's video, and until next time, goodbye.